Hey friends and family, welcome to Marcie Creates. This is Marcie, and today I have Tutorial Tuesday for you. We are going to continue playing with our bargain bead box that we got called Holiday Cheer. And as you can see, these are pretty much the beads we got. I did add more blue. There's a little bit of blue that came in one of the quartz strands. There was a little bit of yellow, and then we had gold findings, red, and predominantly green. And then, of course, we were playing with color. In our color inspiration series, we added some jewel tones. So we have more of a deeper blue. We have a fuchsia. We have a really pretty plum color, kind of a light plum. And I am also introducing some brass, antique brass. But for tonight, we are going to keep things simple. I'm going to do, we did a pretty involved project Sunday. And this time around, I do want to concentrate on more of what came in the box, but add a few things. I am going to add more touches of blue. So for tonight, we're not going to be playing with the fuchsia or the purple. Like I said, I did add more blue. And I am going to be using the bronze to tone down some of the gold. And we are also going to use the stringing wire we used last time, which is the Softflex green emerald color. We're going to use that. We are probably going to use, maybe, I haven't decided yet, some brass wire. I do have a couple of pieces here I've cut, which I'll show you what we're going to do with those in a minute. But mostly this is going to be a pretty straightforward stringing project. Like I said, the one Sunday was pretty involved. And so as I was rummaging through my stash, as one does, I know that there are a lot of comments out there about the focal beads that came in this box. So in that spirit, I know quite a few of you felt like the red pendant was too thin. It was very flimsy, so a lot of you did not want to work with that. And then a few of you felt like this was too small. I think this would be ideal for a bracelet, so I'm going to probably do a bracelet design and make that the focal at some point. But in rummaging through my stash, I found this adorable Merry Christmas rhinestone pendant, and it already had the dangles on it. I believe this came from Hobby Lobby one year when they were doing their, after holiday clearance. I picked up a bunch of Christmassy type things, and I love the vintage quality of this, and I thought it would make a very cute focal with what we've got going on here. So that's why I grabbed some of this antique brass. I thought it would go nicely and it would tone down some of this really bright gold. So we're going to use this as our focal point. And then we're just going to do basic stringing. There's only one other thing that I started to do, and I will show you. I didn't finish it because I did want to finish it on camera. I do have some more findings here, some jump rings and such that we will probably use. But I did start putting together a little pattern for each side of the necklace, just to see where I wanted the touches of blue. I'm just going to be doing two of these. These are those dolomite that came in the box with the gold and the red beryl beads, and then of course the green cube beads that came in the mix, and these really pretty rondelles, the quartz faceted rondelles. So one on either side of this is going to be what we're going to do. And I'm probably also not going to be using this darker green. We're going to put that to the side. I did pull out, just in case I want, some darker green. I pulled out a few little oval faceted beads from my stash. We have more blue, just so I have a little bit more shapes to introduce a little bit more blue. They did have a nod to that in the box, so I thought I would play with that a little bit more. So this is going to be very straightforward tonight, and just a really fun, simple stringing project with just like a station of beads like this, and then we'll do our soft flex to kind of break it up, because I do love that green color. So I'm going to put this aside for now, and I do like this arrangement, but I realized that my wire, this is 18 gauge brass wire, was too short, because I do want to do a nice wrap on it. So that's what I'm going to do first, is make these two components and get those ready, and then we're just going to start stringing. So it's going to be a very easygoing project, but I think, you know, I wanted to stick to kind of a traditional look with that really cute pendant. So I'm going to do some wire wrapping, of course, on each side of this station that I'm making for both sides of the necklace. And that's going to be kind of our main feature on each side. I probably don't want 4 of these wraps. Let me pull. I just realized I did 4 wraps. You do as many wraps as you want. I decided I don't really want to do 4. Fortunately, this brass is pretty soft, as mentioned before. Now, I have another focal piece that I found where we will be using the fuchsia and the purple, so stay tuned. I'm not abandoning our palette. I'm just simplifying it for tonight. All right, so then I'm just going to string these. So I have one of those really pretty blue quartz, dyed quartz that came in the mix. And we're just going to straightforward string all this. And this little bit of yellow also is in that string. Now I did add this brass saucer bead and the little rondelle with the rhinestones. Those came from my stash, but I definitely want to use more of these cube beads. I love these green cube beads. I thought they were cute. And then I'm using some brass bead caps with this really pretty dolomite bead that came in the mix. So we are going to maybe stack some things, some bead caps later on in the necklace. But it's fun to do what I like to call instant gratification jewelry, where it's not super involved. You're just basically stringing. I mean, I am making this component. You don't have to do that. You could string this instead. This is just a little extra step, just because I like for that soft flex wire to show, because I like it so much. That's really one of the main things. And another thing I like to do is sometimes I like to switch up different wiring techniques. Like I'll use fabric on one end, and so I like to have a little station like this where I can connect them. That's another reason why another rhyme or reason why I did that. All right. So here is our nice little station of beads. I'm going to just move it around. This wire is super soft, so I just want to get it a little straighter. And then we will wire wrap this. And then we'll do our second one. Can't believe next week's Thanksgiving. It just blows by. Amazing. Next thing we know, it's going to be New Year's. Yikes. But Thanksgiving's one of my favorites. We got a lot of family coming in, so I'm very excited about that. Get to see a bunch of family. That's what it's all about. And I love it when there's lots of generations. So we're going to have younger folks, medium-aged folks, senior folks. That's always a fun time. All right. I'm not going to get too hyped up about this. Just want to tuck that end in. So, just in the interest of time, I'm going to do that next one off camera, and we'll come back and string. Okay, so I'm back, and I went ahead and made my other little station that's going to go on the other side of the necklace. So we have our soft flex wire here, and I've already attached to this a little bail that matches, a little brass bail, so that way it slides nicely onto the wire and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to center this onto our wire, and then it's a matter of how long we want this and what kind of stringing design we want to do. So these are going to go probably up here, and then I've pulled out some Rolo chain to add to the back. It's kind of a different texture. So that's why I like doing these stations, is you can switch up your wiring, what you're using for wiring. So now it's just a matter of designer's choice on a pattern. So I think I did pull these out. I like the antique brass look of those. I loved these with the little rhinestones. I think those were a bargain bead box purchase at some point. And these were too. So even though these didn't come with this box, I have them from other purchases, because that's one of the fun things I like about the bargain bead box when you get the subscription, is doing all the shopping afterwards with your 30% off. And you can really do a nice stash building when you do that. So, that being said, I think I'm going to get started with just a simple green. Maybe we'll do some green. I'm just going to lay these out before I actually string them. So let me let go of this for just a second, because whatever I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other. And I would like a representation of some of these. These look very antique to me, these rondelles with the gold on the one side. So maybe we'll do a stack of 3 like that. And I'm going to do a breakup of the gold. As I mentioned, we're going to stack our bead caps because they are very bright. And I think, yeah, a couple of these guys will tone it down. If you can, let me see if I can put that on something better. I'll just stick it on my finger. So this is super bright. And then we'll sandwich this little guy. Oops, come back here. On top of him. So now you still have peaks of the gold, but it's not quite eye blinding, shall we say. I don't know, is that a term? It is now. Eye blinding. We just coined it. And then I love these, like I said, I love these crystal squares. So maybe we'll do, I just want peaks of blue. So I think this is pretty long. If we string, yeah. So let's do a little bit of blue, maybe right at the beginning. And then I did pull out some things I thought would coordinate with these. Of course, you have these that came with the box, so we should use those. And then maybe I'll grab a bigger one for right there. Then do we want to do some brass? Oh, we got these guys. Let's put that one down there. Let's see. So this is the where you play. Maybe I'll put a little brass guy here. And maybe I'll sandwich. I do like these little red. They look very vintage to me. Maybe do a saucer bead. These are going to be like this. Just so. Okay, and then we should probably do a little bit more of our gold toned down idea. Oops, different. Gotta make sure you're getting the right. I grabbed a different variety of things. Probably best just to dump that out, but we'll put a couple of those. And then we can attach this, and we'll do the other side. And then I think just some Rolo chain on the end would be nice. And I did find I don't know if you didn't see the video we did Sunday, I have this really nice toggle, very holiday looking in the antique brass. We used a bright gold on Sunday. So that's what the plan is. And then just thinking ahead, I pulled a few of these things out. I had these also from the bargain bead box, not from this box. Those would make great coordinating earrings, I thought. So you'll probably see that in either a tutorial or a finished jewelry update. I don't know which. We'll see. So I'm gonna get to stepping and stringing. So we'll add our. Maybe I'll have this point down. This pretty filigree piece. Uh-oh. I need to get an awl. I thought I had one. Sometimes there can be things stuck. That's a bummer. It happens. So I'm going to put those to the side. Maybe what we'll do instead, best laid plans. Maybe we'll grab another. Oh, these are pretty. We'll do the cloisonne beads. Please tell me you're going to work. There we go. This is how you know I didn't check this yet. So now we're going to stack our bead caps. And these filigree bead caps, they're pretty thin. So stacking also will fortify them. You know. And then you just get that little peak of gold, which I like. But sometimes you don't want it so bright that you need sunglasses. And I'm having trouble finding that. The center. There's just so many holes in there. There we go. I did mention I think I need to go to the eye doctor. Okay. So then let's put our... And this is the point where you can string one side. I always like to string one side and then kind of take a look at it. And that way, if you want to make changes, you only have to redo one side. That's why I like to do it this way. Oh, and we don't want to forget our... Oh, we want to add these two. Well, let's see what we like better. Do we like the bright green? Or do we want to go more antique? We just have a little bit of green here. Of course, if I do these, I may want to change out what I have on either side. All right, so let's try this first. I do like these little antique looking. So that's option one. That's pretty. Now let's see, we're just going to pull these off. We do have quite a bit of green coming up. But I just thought that darker with the lighter green might look interesting as well. Designer's choice and dilemmas, huh? Let's see. Let's string it and see. That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the antique. Let me know in the comments what you would have picked. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Obviously, just as personal preference, they both look nice. It's just a matter of what you like. But I really do love these. So we're going to go with those. So let me grab. I also like these rhinestone rondelles. And since I didn't get to use my pretty teardrops, I'm craving some sparkle. So I think we'll go with that. And then we've got another square bead. Then we have this really pretty Aurora Borealis dark blue. And we're going to stack our bead caps again. Okay. Maybe we'll do a rondelle here. Just to weigh that down. And I think I like that. And then this would be our connector piece. I do like some of the soft flex showing since it's that pretty green. That way if I do some earrings and I have the wire showing, it'll make sense. You know, as a set, was kind of my thought. And then we'll add some Rollo chain. So I like that. So let me put this to the side and we'll do the other side. I don't want to make you sit through the other side, so I'm going to string that off camera and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've already added this on. I'm going to do some little crimp covers in the antique bronze. I found I'm using some silver crimp tubes from Bead Flex, Soft Flex, and I'm telling you right now, these are the best crimps. Don't scrimp on your crimps. I can't say it enough. It makes a big difference. So we're going to add this next to this one. And so this is pretty much the only tricky part, is you want to get it as close to even as possible. Are you going to be perfect? Of course not. So don't make yourself crazy. But you do want to make sure that this is strung snug enough that when you start lining them up, you know you've used up most of the wire. Now, I do have a trick. I think I showed you maybe in a video or two. If you have some slack, because you will end up with some slack, it's just the nature of the beast sometimes. You can kind of cover that by adding crimp beads if you have a little space that you don't like. But just take your time. It's not a race. Try to get your loops as even as possible. That's really key. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. You know, these are handmade items made by you, and none of us are perfect. We're human. So don't fret. But you do want to crimp that. You don't want your wires to cross when you're crimping. So if you have a little space, then you have a little space. Let's see. I'm just gonna finesse that. I think Brittany says finagle. Finesse, finagle, zhuzh. Whatever terminology works for you. There we go. That looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna hold on to this while I crimp. You do have those magical crimping pliers by Softflex. You can certainly use those, and you don't need the bead caps. I mean the crimp covers. And I've got a nice long piece here I'm going to save, possibly for an earring. Let me get a little closer. Make sure you're only cutting the extra. Trust me, I've cut too much before, and then you have to start over. It happens. There we go. All right. I do need to get a bead reamer because I love these. There's just got to be something stuck in there. Stay tuned for those. Those will show up in another project, I'm sure. All right. So now I got a couple of jump rings here. That's going to be for our toggle and our wire. I mean our chain. Let me put our bead covers, our crimp covers on rather. Looking for those. I like these sometimes to help grip. These little crimp. Sometimes these can come sliding out of your flat nose. But because this has the little notches, it kind of hangs on to them. I kind of like that. It helps. Very gently going to close that. I've been known to smish my crimp covers too quickly. If anyone knows a trick on crimp covers, do share. Speaking of sharing, I would love to have you over on the Facebook group if you're interested. We've got about 140 folks, and we just look at gemstones and colors that inspire us. And I really would like to do more with the Facebook group next year. So if any of you are interested, please head over to Facebook and look for Marcie Creates under groups. You can join us. You don't have to say much, but everybody is super nice over there. And like I said, we just share. I like to put like gemstones and colorways, just things that'll inspire you, pictures of nature. It's a very nice group over there. And if you want to post your work, absolutely, I would love to see it, especially if you do any takes on any of the projects I'm showing you. I would love to see that. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you. This is your first time watching my channel. All right. So now, I really like this. It has a very nice vintage Christmassy vibe with this. I really love this pendant. And I think mixing the metals was a nice touch. And I think adding just a tiny bit of blue, you know, that kind of breaks up the monotony of the red and the green. And like I said, stay tuned. We will be adding more colors, of course, since we're playing with color. But you don't always have to use every color when you you know, play around with color and picking palettes and things like that, you can go simple on a few pieces. It's your decision. You know, it's up to you. And certainly, as I've said before, it's what I say, designer's choice. So I have some Rolo chain here that I've already cut, and I think it's pretty long. So I'm not going to use, I was going to do 2 of these, but I think I'm just going to actually cut this one, or use half on one side and half on the other. Let's see. I think I can get rid of one of these links. Let's see. I like to put it on a head pin so I can neaten it up. But I think these links are big enough that I can open and close them like a jump ring. I think that was Sherry. Sherry, was that your suggestion to me? I think it was. You had said that you can open these. Yep. You were right. Shout out to Sherry. I was using some cutters and she said, you're going to ruin your cutters. But look at that. So with the Rolo chain, that's nice to know. So I passed this on to you all. One of my viewers, Sherry Snake Dancer is her handle. Always giving me great feedback, and I really do appreciate that, Sherry. Had mentioned that in one of my videos I was cutting the Rolo chain, and she said, no, it's like links, you don't have to do that. And she was right. I think that might be off by a chain. I mean a link. Let me look. Let me look at that again. I thought I saw it. Not be even. Nope, that looks even. Okay. I was hallucinating. So now it's just a matter of attaching with our jump rings. One chain and another. And you could even do, you know, if you were going to give it for a gift and you weren't sure on the length, you could do like an extender chain with a lobster claw instead. So if you're doing any kind of gift giving, that's a helpful hint from Heloise. And we're just going to attach. Sometimes doing just a nice straightforward stringing is just the ticket, you know. The beads are already beautiful. So sometimes I can get a little fancy with some stuff, but I do like to just come back down to earth and just do something, you know, relatively simple, where I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel or do something out of the box. There's nothing wrong with a straight stringing project. In fact, it can be very satisfying to get, you know, 2 or 3 necklaces made in an afternoon. You feel like you accomplished something, and they're going to be gorgeous. So why not? Why not, I tell you? So I got my Sam's bead box. I can't wait to do the unboxing for you. That'll be coming up. And if those of you that don't know, I did open an Etsy shop. I actually got my first sale. Shout out to my buddy Michael, his wife. Carolyn bought a very pretty necklace, so I actually got to mail it and package it and write thank you for supporting my small business and all that fun stuff. So I hope she wears that in good health, Michael. And I'll link my shop. I don't expect, you know, if you all want to take a look, I don't have a lot on there. I'm adding things. It was kind of a process to add things. I finally figured out. I'll go into that more if you want me to. If you're thinking about opening an Etsy shop, I am brand spanking new at it, and I'm happy to share my thoughts and insights. I already have some, because getting those photos on there, I thought taking the photos was going to be the big challenge, and it turned out I needed to have a little IT knowledge. So I'll go over that too if you want. So here's our really pretty toggle. This also came from Bargain Bead Box, if I didn't mention it. and our Rolo chain, and our really pretty evergreen soft flex wire, and our stations that we made. So we did combine quite a few techniques. This is just a nice way to use several different stringing materials. You could certainly have just strung all of this, but I wanted the soft flex to show. It'd be a good opportunity to maybe hang some dangles right there if you want to do a little extra. And you could do, instead of chain, more soft flex, or maybe some fabric or some leather. It's just a nice way to break up your stringing materials, especially too if you're running low on something. So say you didn't have enough soft flex to do the whole necklace, but you have enough to do this centerpiece, then you're good to go. But I do love this little vintage guy, Santa with the toys. It's very nostalgic. I do like the little pops of blue, and that was kind of a little nod, a little hint from Bargain Bead Box in the gemstones, the quartz that we got. I just added a few more rondelles and a couple of little glass pearls sprinkled in there, and it looks very nice. So thank you for joining me on Tutorial Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's nice and straightforward, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think, you know, you should do some, stretch projects, what I like to call them, where you're trying to new techniques and combining things. But it is always awesome to go back to the basics. So we've got this that we did tonight, kind of a more basic, straightforward thing. And I am going to give you a little sneak peek of the other pendant, where we're going to use the different purples, just so you can get an idea. So this is my other pendant that I want to play with, and see when we bring these in, and the deeper greens. See that? So that's next project. So we're going to be going more in the lavender. We'll still pick up the reds, of course, but this pendant really, I didn't even realize I had this. I was going through my pendants today, and I thought that would be really nice with what we have going on here. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably be in a few days. I don't know, I'll give it a few days to do that project. And there's going to be an unboxing, like I said. And then I have some new bead mixes from Jesse James Beads I ordered. Oh, you all, they are gorgeous. So I'll be sharing those with you as well. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whenever it is that you're watching this. Please take care of yourselves and your families and be safe. And I will see you on the next video.